right, guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's good to have you here. And in this video, we're going to be discussing something very, very deep, but I'm going to be presenting it in a very, very simple way, so that you guys can be aware of it. And if you can ensure you understand this video very well, it's going to go a long way to improve your trading skills. I just want to analyze a trade I took. A swing trade I took, the buys and the sells, and I'm going to be showing you the places I bought them from and places I sold them from, and at the same time I'm going to be giving you proof of my trade so that you can see that those trades are actually legit from the analysis. All right, so basically, if you want to trade accurately, you need to consider these four important things on my screen, which is structure, flip zones, liquidity, BOS. If you can have a very deep understanding of these four, you should be catching trades on a daily basis. And I'm just going to be illustrating something here on the screen so that you guys can see my thought process in the chart. All right, so this is for a market trending downward. Okay, for market trending downward, of course, you know that the structure forms lower highs and lower lows, and of course I've said it in one of my videos before, and I'm going to be saying it here again, that if price is trending in a downtrend, I said the highs sustains the trend. That simply means that the highs formed should not be broken. They are the one that sustains the trend. So when price is retracing, price is not meant to go above this high, if not to see it as a major break of structure. Right, so the high sustains the trend. Then similarly, for an uptrend, the lows actually sustains the trend. Now, when price is trending in a downtrend, please take note that all the lows are actually weak lows. They store external liquidity, and those external liquidity must be grabbed. So it is very, very risky and dangerous to want to trade or buy price here when price is in a downtrend. It's very dangerous because this is an external liquidity that must be grabbed. That is the reason why price even forms downward trend structure, because of the external liquidity that it needs to grab. Now, so once price is trending downward, of course, if you want to involve yourself in trading a market that is trending, you have to move with the trend. So that simply means I will be very much more interested in selling. So what are the best places to sell? The two best places to sell are flip zones and the strong high. For example, I'm looking at this drawing on the chart. Look at this low here. This was the external liquidity that was grabbed before price created a new low. So this simply means that momentum is in the same direction as structure. Now, price returning back, retracing back, of course, price will retrace back into premium in order to sell. Now, one thing you want to check out for is actually the last supply that broke this demand. That is flip zone. So whenever you have price expand, like price is trending in a particular direction and it expands in that direction to form a new high or a new low, always check out for flip zones. Flip zones are places where price utilize a lot. I've traded nothing less than 100 trades. In fact, nothing less than 500 trades from flip zones. It works a lot. And if flip zones are violated, then you now need to check out for the strong high or the strong low for you to sell or buy from. So I want to see price come here. So I want to see price come here, right? This flip zone and continue selling. And once I can catch a sell for my flip zone or my strong high or my primary POI, most people call flip zone secondary POI. So once I can catch the trade, that simply means that my target definitely is going to be this external liquidity down here, right? So as I'm able to catch this, irrespective of the time frame, if I catch this on the daily, that means it's going to be a very nice swing, and I'm going to be targeting this low here. Or if I catch it from here, definitely I'm going to be targeting this low. So this is just a very simple narrative that I have used times without number to take trades, and it's the same method I'm going to be showing you in one of the trades I just took here, right? And I secured a lot of pips. I'm going to be showing you the buys and also the sells. So just learn from it. All right. So let's move into the chart now and see what we have for EURUSD. All right, guys. So this is the chart of EURUSD, and I'm going to be analyzing the trades that I took. All right. But first of all, you have to check the general macro structure of the market. That is, go to your higher time frame and see what the market is saying. So for what I can see here, we can see that price is purely bearish. Price has been forming series of lower highs and lower lows, lower highs and lower lows, lower highs and lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower high. So what we are having currently here is actually retracement. So there is always a need for you to check the higher time frame so that you can know the exact location of price, so that you won't find yourself in the wrong side of the market, right? So we already know that we are trading a retracement back into this trading range for us to now catch a sell to target back this external liquidity. So you can see all the external liquidity we're taking out here is not, they are not places you want to buy. All the external liquidities here we actually grabbed. So that simply means that once we can actually catch the sell from wherever I want to catch it from, we're definitely going to target the external liquidity here. But that is by the way, right? So we are purely trending downwards for EURUSD, purely trending downward. So I just needed to know what was actually sponsoring the buy. So I had to go very, very backward to spot out for what was sponsoring the buy. So from what we can see, price just reacted to a daily demand right there. So price just reacted to a daily demand, okay? And simply means that we are buyers at the main time. So let me go to a more lower time frame so that we can see where we are going. So I went to 4-hour. I went to 1 hour. So going to my 1 hour, I needed to spot where price was actually headed. So from the initial diagram that I drew, that I said price was actually trending downward, that we had lower high, lower low, lower high, and so on. So I needed to find the flip zone that happened just before price took out the last significant low. So let me draw the last significant low here, this external liquidity right here. So I needed to find the flip zone, right? So this is an external liquidity which was meant to be grabbed. So I need to check out for the last supply that cleared that external liquidity. So coming down to this area, I could actually spot two zones. So just before the low was taken out, I had this order block. This is an hidden order block, right? How do I know? Subscribe to my mentorship. This is an hidden order block I spotted right here. All right, so I'm going to draw that. So that is the first zone. That was the first zone I was looking out for. And of course, the next zone was this extreme here. So I already know where price is headed. Price is either headed for this flip zone, or price is headed forward for this primary zone up here. So that simply means that I am not ready to sell long term yet until price comes to this area or this area and gives me an intent. So for now, I was interested in buys. So let me go deeper into the chart and see what has been going on. So currently, price reacted from a daily demand, and price is currently moving sideways. So price was creating a cause for an effect, and the effect I predicted most likely was actually going to be a buy, right? So this is just price reaccumulating to move further into the supply that will send price downwards. So in my mind, I am looking for buys at the end of this trading range, but at the same time, you need to follow price and see what price is actually saying, right? So from what we have here in this ranging period, I could see vividly that price was obeying demand order flow. Had this mitigated right here, right? We had this low as liquidity, and what happened? We have price grabbing that liquidity and mitigating this demand right here. So price has actually been obeying demand order flow, right? We had price buying from this area. Price has been obeying demand order flow, which was very, very nice and giving me an intent that price will actually want to break to the upside. And of course, I could actually see the intent of price. So this is a very, very nice intent, right? This is a very nice intent, making us know that the bulls are potentially going to be in charge of the market, all right? So next thing, I was focused more on this area of the chart, and spotted out this trend line, drew out this trend line down to this area, and I was just waiting for a perfect move that will make us know exactly where price is going. But for me to actually know that, I need to start coming to some lower time frame to ensure that I see every move that will definitely occur in the market. So from what I have here as well, price was from that demand order flow, price was forming higher highs and higher lows, higher highs and higher lows, right? Higher highs and higher lows. Okay, so I just needed to see some price narrative before I could know exactly what price wants to do. So let's see what price did. All right, so we could see that price actually broke this trend line right here, and of course this was the last demand. So this was the last demand just before price broke that high, right? And of course, this has been a perfect mitigation also, right from this area here, right from this order flow. So this has been a perfect mitigation of structure, like price has been showing bullish intent, forming higher highs and higher lows until this trend line was taken out. So this becomes my area, right? So I gave this limit out to the group. I gave this limit out to the group. You can see right there on your screen. I gave them, set the limit right here. See it there on your screen. And I was just hoping that price will mitigate there, because it is actually a very, very valid zone. And of course, once price mitigate there, where I want to target minimum is this high that I'm aiming to continue the sell. All right, so let's see what price actually did. So this was already getting to New York of that particular day. This green area is my London. This blue is my Asian range. So let's see what happened. So price actually mitigated. Price mitigated our entry, right? And mitigated our entry before the end of that particular day. And I spotted something very, very, very important the next day. You can see that this is actually Asian range. And I noticed that the point of mitigation of the limit order I gave to them, I noticed that Asian low actually came back to that same area and retested that area. So, and one thing about Asian range is that if price is trending upward, most times Asian range is always create liquidity to the downside for price to grab before price eventually moves. So I had to go down to a more lower time frame, like 5 minutes. I'm spotting what this Asian range presented. So we had equal lows right here, and that simply means that there is liquidity stored just below this low, and I'm interested in selling any peep below that low. All right, so and this was already morning. We had Asian low here, and I knew that London was definitely going to induce Asian low, grab the liquidity before it moves. And of course, I gave a new limit, and my target definitely was the high. So this was a prime setup. I knew that price was going to mitigate it. And let's see what price actually did. This is what price actually did. So this was just 7 pips stop loss. All right. So, and it was a perfect mitigation, right? This was a perfect mitigation. It was a perfect mitigation. So this was a perfect mitigation. And of course, I think that day was the day CP high news was released, I guess. So I've said it times without number in different of my videos that news doesn't affect analysis. It only creates volatility. So I was very much aware that we are definitely going bullish. So if any news wants to come out now, it would definitely support our course. And let's see what price did. And when the news was released, it was so fast. You can see that price got to our target right there. Price got to our target, all right? Okay, so let's go back to our 15 minutes. Oh, still on the 5 minutes, all right? So price actually got to our final target there, which was around 160 pips. It was around 160 pips. All right, so price got to our final target right there. Very easy. So that's the entry on the screen, and that is how far we held the trade, or I held the trade rather. Okay. So remember, I was hoping to sell from here or from here once I see a significant intent, and definitely that was exactly what I saw. For my flip zone, still the same structure. You can see price forming high, low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Now what we had here was a break of structure. So we had price break structure here already. So this was already a very good intent for my sell. Excuse me. So this was already a very good intent for my sell. So this is a break of structure. Let me label it break of structure, right? BOS. So this was already BOS right here. This was already a break of structure right here. Okay. And even this high that we had right here was actually an inducement. It was an inducement for the supply. I told you that liquidity validates a zone. All right. So we had a break of structure here. So that simply means that whatever move I catch here right now, I am definitely going to swing it. All right. So I have two places in my mind. I had two POIs in my mind, right? So of course, all this spotted them as what? As liquidity to be grabbed, right? So my flip zone, the last supply, storing liquidity here now is actually this guy right here. Have this, and if that doesn't hold, the flip zone doesn't hold, then I will be very much interested in what's in the extreme, of which I know price would not go more than the extreme. All right. So let's see what price did. So this was my first area. This was my first area, and this was my second area. So let's see what price did. Price traded, and all right, let me move this a little bit further. So I want you to see in details exactly what happened. So let's play price. So price started moving up to my first POI, and I noticed that price, okay, I noticed that price started ranging. Okay, price started ranging, like price started distributing. And of course, this was actually an intent that I spotted here, that okay, we had broken structure and price might use this to want to sell. So I had this here, this zone here, as where I intended to sell initially. So I intended to sell from here initially, all right? For the big move, I intended to sell initially from the big move just because price distributed. But of course, I still have here in mind, in case all this was just price trying to create early sellers so that they can trap them. And let's see what price did. So immediately price did this. Immediately price took me out. I just knew that the zone price was eventually going to use was going to be my last zone here, my primary point of interest, which was just about like 9 to 8 pips, and I gave them in the group. All right, I gave them in the signal channel. That is it there on your screen with the limit and everything. And let's see what price did. And price mitigated perfectly. Price mitigated, and of course, movement has started. So where is my daily target? Where is my target? Of course, the external liquidity. Let me go to 1 hour so that we can spot the daily external liquidity. All right, so where is my target? This is the daily external liquidity. Price is meant to come out from a lower low. So this was a potential 408 pips target. 408 pips target. So, and what happened to price? Price never returned back. So I was very much sure of where price was going. Okay, and let me show you another entry that we took, or that I took. So I knew my final target, all right? So I just needed to be catching more sales along the line. I needed to be catching more sales along the line. So price got somewhere around here and entered into a ranging market, of which I knew that it was just going to be a redistribution for price to move further down. All right, so I just needed to be at alert to see exactly what price wants to do. Okay, all right, so I need to see price narrative. So we had Asian range. So after Asian range, we had New York forming higher highs and higher lows. So I had to go to a more lower time frame to see a very good area to catch this trade from, because I knew that price was about to continue downward. We were towards the end of the ranging period. Okay, so on my 1 minute, I was just waiting for the slightest entry presentation for me to actually enter this trade. Of course, price had already been shifting structure here. All right, so might not necessarily wait for a break of structure, just wait for price to create like an inducement and for us to just tag in. So price started doing this. All right, so immediately I saw this, I was so very sure that there has been a shift already. So you can see this 3 touch, 1, 2, 3, and price has given a very nice intent. So I spotted out this liquidity right here, and I just knew that price was just going to take out that liquidity. This is an inducement high for price to keep coming down. And of course, I had my entry just above this high. So anywhere above this high was my entry, and my stop loss was just above this high right here, just 7 pips. And let's see what price did. So my stop loss was just 7 pips. And this was my high that I wanted to be induced. And my stop loss was just above this high right here. And let's see what price did. Price actually mitigated it, started falling, of which I still know my final target. So I just needed to be tagging along. So for this particular trade, that is my entry right there on the screen. Yeah, that's my entry right there. So I was still targeting this low here, the external liquidity low, which is around 218 pips. So let's see what price did. Price obviously started going down. Price obviously started going down. All right, so price presented another opportunity right here again. Price presented another opportunity. So after this expansion to the downside, price entered into a ranging market. Because I told you, if price is moving impulsively in a particular direction, most times Asian liquidity will be created and in order to be grabbed for price to continue upward or to continue downward or to continue in that direction. So we had Asian range here. Let me reduce this. So we had Asian range formed from this expansion. And of course, Asian range must surely be induced for price to now continue. So around New York that morning, we had our entry right here. It was a live session. And I gave this trade with just a 9 pip stop loss. All right. And of course, where was our target? Our target was still this low here. Target was still this low, about 130 something pips. And let's see what price did. Price mitigated perfectly well and kept falling. So for this particular entry, for this particular trade, that's the entry right there on the screen. Entry right there on the screen. All right. So price started falling. So I was just looking for several other sell opportunities just to ensure that I come to this my final target, because I was so very certain price will come there. So you can see it right now on the screen, the earliest entry, and also this late entry right here. All right. So price started presenting a kind of narrative. So I still had a zone spotted there for us to enter. Right. So this was Asian low taken out already, price giving intent to the downside. Then of course we had a zone right here. And of course, this was a liquidity that validated that zone above. So I gave another limit right here. For them to sell price or for us to sell price. When price gets there, it was just about like 6 pips stop loss. And yet I was targeting the external liquidity low. And but eventually price didn't actually mitigate there, and price got to my final target. So guys, look at it. So nice. So cut this about 160 pips, cut this over 400 pips, cut this over 216 pips, this over 137, and that was how we were able to swing EURUSD, but at the same time catching trades along the line. So if you understand this basic concept, I think every single trade that you trade should be much clearer and much understandable. And I want to believe that this video has really helped you. If you have not subscribed to my channel, ensure that you subscribe, share this video, and comment also in the comment section. And I wish you all the best in trading. For those of you that are still not yet profitable yet in trading foreign exchange market, just ensure that you keep the fire burning and keep being consistent. Whether you are getting it right now or not, just keep being consistent with your work, and eventually it will all pay out. So this is the correct position of price, and you can see I held my trade all through, and this is currently where price is at the moment. So this is how we cut the buy, the sell, EURUSD. Thank you very much for watching. Have a wonderful trading life ahead. God bless you.